Hey everyone, welcome back to Keto and Crime. Today we are going to go over some very both interesting and terrible updates in the case of the Franke family from Utah. If you have not heard about the case, it's all over YouTube, all over mainstream media, but I'll link my first video on it right up here so that you can see that. But basically we have learned more about what happened on August 30th when both Ruby Franke and her business partner, 𝗬𝗙𝗲𝗄𝗏, was taken into custody by Washington County authorities in Utah. We know that basically two children who have now been identified as 𝗟𝗏 Franke, age 12, and 𝗂𝗏 Franke, age 10, were rescued from 𝗬𝗙𝗲𝗄𝗏's residence in Washington County, 𝗬𝗏𝗁, Utah, I believe, even though they lived with their mother, Ruby Franke, in Springfield, which is over an hour away. They were rescued when Russell escaped and ran to a neighbor's house. He was emaciated, had duct tape around his ankles and hands, as well as open wounds. He was saying that he was both hungry and thirsty. The gentleman who lived next door to 𝗬𝗙𝗲𝗄𝗏 immediately called 911 and got medical help for the child. We're going to listen to that 911 call in its entirety because it is, I'll put a timestamp down below if you don't want to hear it. If trauma and things like that upset you, then definitely don't listen to it because it's very traumatic. Basically, we have a young man in Russell that is saying to the man that is trying to get him help that it's his own fault that he has been tied up, starved, and not given any water. He tells the man that it's his own fault. I can't even imagine the amount of brainwashing it takes for that to occur, for someone to be sick and probably near death, because you can only go 2 or 3 days without water. You can go, if you have a healthy amount of body weight, you can go a long time without food, but water is essential. And this emaciation did not take place over just a few days. This was probably several weeks of this happening. So the 911, I'm going to go ahead and drop that 911 call here, listen to it, then I'll come back and we'll continue on the timeline from October 30th.
911, the address of your emergency. Okay, and the phone number you're calling from. Tell me exactly what's happened.
I just had a 12-year-old boy show up here at my front door asking for help. And he's said he just came from a neighbor's house, and we know there's been problems at this neighbor's house. He's emaciated, he's got tape around his legs, he's hungry, and he's thirsty.
Okay. Is your door locked?
No, I'm sitting outside with him on the front patio.
Okay, cool.
And he asked us to call the police.
What's
So
your
he's
name?
very afraid. What's your last name? He's 12 years old. Yes.
Okay, and can you ask him his date of birth?
Can you tell me your birthday?
Okay, and are the neighbors out of their home, or is anybody looking for them that you can see?
No. Our homes are far enough away. I'm not sure. How did you get out of the house?
Porch. He went out.
He says you just left through the porch at the neighbor's house. Her name is 𝗬𝗙𝗲𝗄𝗏, and she lives 2 doors up the street.
Out here in 𝗬𝗙𝗲𝗄𝗏.
Yeah, out here in 𝗬𝗙𝗲𝗄, the houses are far apart, so he walked just under a block to get to our house. He rang my doorbell and asked me to call the police.
Does he seem to be under the influence of drugs or alcohol?
I don't think so, but he's very thirsty and...
Need an ambulance?
I don't think he needs an ambulance. I'll let the cops decide that, but his ankles are taped up and he won't tell us why.
Okay.
But he has duct taped around each ankle. Yeah, there's sores around them. I think there's a good chance he's been... Oh, and he has them around his ankles. I mean his wrists as well. Okay, this boy has been... He needs... This kid has obviously been... I think he's been detained. He's obviously covered in wounds.
Okay. Let's get the paramedics headed over that way, okay?
Oh, that's a good idea, too.
Let's see. Has he told you where his mom or dad are?
Haven't asked him that. Yeah. You know where your mommy and...
I really got these.
Yeah, I'm sure that doesn't matter, son. Do you know where your mom and dad are?
Well, actually, I don't know where my mom is, but I do know where my dad is. He's not anywhere here. Nowhere here.
Okay. Yeah, he doesn't seem to... He says he knows where his mom is, but...
He doesn't know where his dad is.
That's correct.
I do know where my dad is.
Is his mom home?
He doesn't live.
He just says he doesn't live around here.
Okay. Is his mom
we're getting...
area?
Is your mom around here? Have you seen her lately? He doesn't know where she is right now.
Does he know his mom's name?
What's your mom's name? Ruby Franke? Ruby Franke is his mom's name.
Okay. How do you spell the last name?
F-R-A-N-K-E.
F-R-A-N-K-E.
Okay. And does she live in the area?
No, I'm not sure where she lives. He's trying to help us, but he's...
That's okay. We don't want to stress him out too much. The officers will go over all these questions with him anyway. I just want to stay on the phone with you until we get some help there, okay?
Yeah,
What's your name?
My name is...
Can you ask him if any other children were in the home he came from?
Okay. Was there any other kids up at Jody's house? Anybody else? No. How old? Yeah, this is the 30th of, or excuse me, the 29th of August.
It'll be the 30th of August.
10 and 14, and they're still at this house.
Are they tied up as well?
What's the deal with? Are they being held? Do they have wounds on them as well?
Nothing bad going on with us.
Okay.
It's just
Okay. So they're able to walk around the house and everything.
everything.
Well, okay. He says everything's fine with them. Grain of salt.
Okay.
He says what's happened to him is his fault.
That's sad to hear. They're coming to you as quick as they can, okay?
Okay,
You're
yeah.
doing really well.
Yeah,
I just want to make sure.
He's fine. I've got him sitting here. My wife's he got him water and giving him something to eat because he's hungry, and I think the young man, he's hearing his stocking feet, so he escaped.
Well, I'm glad that he was able to make it to
They're on their way.
so he could be safe. They should just be pulling up now. Let me know when they're with you, okay?
Will do. I hear a car, but they're not coming on the driveway. You did good. Enjoy that banana, okay?
Yeah, he just
did the right
a
thing.
few seconds ago, so he might be waiting for his partner. I'm not sure.
Is Jody up there right now?
Yes.
Okay. 𝗪𝗏𝗀𝗃 is up there right now.
Okay.
So she may come looking for him here soon, but he's not going to, obviously. We need the cops here as soon as possible.
I'm just asking where he is now.
Yeah, she's a bad lady. We didn't realize how bad.
Okay, let's see. I'm just asking where he is. Well, it sounds like he's making a phone call real quick to his sergeant. He is going to head up.
Okay. All right. Well, if we have to take him inside the house, we will. We're just sitting outside right now because we have chairs out here, and it was convenient.
That's okay. If anything, he's sitting out down your driveway and keeping an eye on the house. So if that's where you feel safe, that's where the child feels safe, and let's just stay where you're at.
Yeah, I think we're doing this. Yes.
Does he have anything with him?
No, he's wearing a long sleeve shirt and shorts, and it's way too big for him.
Can you tell me what color the shirt and shirt are?
Okay, the ambulance is here.
Okay.
So.
Are they with you?
No, they're just not getting out of the truck.
Okay.
Okay.
I'll go ahead and I'll let you go then. You did a great job.
Okay. Thank you.
Thanks, Mike.
Bye.
All right. So you heard the man say that Russell was saying it was his own fault. So we do know that 911 authorities arrived, that Russell was taken by ambulance to a nearby hospital. They then went to Jody Hildebrandt's home, where they found 10-year-old 𝗍𝗍 in much the same state. She was also taken to the hospital, where I have read many affidavits and transcripts saying that she refused medical treatment for about 4 hours, saying again it was her own fault that she was in that state. We do know that Jody Hildebrandt, when she was taken into custody, told the law enforcement, this is through scanners and through other affidavits that I have read, that these two children were dangers to others and should not be allowed around other children, and that's the reason they were tied up essentially in her basement. Okay, and then we know that once Jody was taken into custody, just before she was taken into custody, she called Ruby, who was in Springfield, and Ruby drove the 1 hour to the hospital, attempted to see both children. She was not allowed, thank goodness, to see either child, and was told that law enforcement would speak with her soon. She immediately left the hospital. She called Kevin, and he met her at their home in Springfield, where they were taken in, well, where she was taken into custody. Kevin was handcuffed and held, but was later released. We do know that the other two Franke children, Chad was living with Kevin, and Sherry, of course, is at BYU. The two older middle Franke children were with a friend, so they were taken into custody by CPS from the friend's house, and according to what we know, were not in the same state as their two younger siblings, Russell and Eve. Now, in the days since, Ruby and Jody had their first court appearance on September 8th. We're going to go over that. But in the meantime, Kevin's attorney has gone on every interview show that will have him to say that Kevin has been separated from Ruby for several months. The children were spending the summer with her, would come back to Kevin in the fall, which makes no sense because it is the fall and school has already started. But anyway, he's going on every talk show that will have him, basically saying that his client had nothing to do with this. Well, I do not buy that at all. We have 7 years of evidence from the 8 Passengers channel that he was right there when a lot of these very drastic punishments, such as taking away beds, sending people to military camps, and starving children were happening. Kevin, you're scared, you're trying to save your own ass, and now you care about the children when the cat's out of the bag. Go walk off a short bridge, you whatever, I can't say it, I'll get a strike. But anyway, that's what's happened thus far. Now
he's a good person, he's very gentle. He's a very gentle guy, and no one's ever made any allegations that he's ever physically abused those kids or anyone else.
His lawyer telling ABC News that Kevin's main objective is the safety of his kids.
He just wants to do what's best for his kids, get them back, get them under his tutelage and his fathership, and protect them.
Do know that at the September 8th hearing that both Jody and Ruby were denied bail again. It was ordered that the children remain in custody of CPS, but the most shocking allegation put forth at that hearing was that Ruby accused one of the minor children, they are not saying which, this is either Russell or Evie, of being a sexual deviant and hurting other children by abusing them. And that said child has been watching pornography since they were 3. Really? Really? They've been watching porn since they were 3? You absolute witch of a woman. You low of the low. I absolutely... Okay, so let's just assume for a moment this is true. How does a 3-year-old get a hold of porn? It's either yours or it's your husband's. 3-year-olds don't go onto the internet and search out porn. They just don't. And even if it's true and your children are literally Patty McCormick and the evil seed, tying them up and putting them in a basement and starving them and refusing water is not the way you punish them. That makes any mental illness they may have worse. You get them the help they need, and not with Jodi Hildebrandt, who has already had her license suspended once and has some very controversial views that revolve around absolute cruelty. No.
Good afternoon, Mr. Winward. How are you?
Franke and Hildebrandt had their first court appearance Friday in Washington County.
My case is assigned to Judge Barnes. I would make an oral motion today to transfer this case to Judge Bolton so that co-defendants track each other.
The judge granted a switch of Franke's judge to be the same as Hildebrandt's. The two will continue to be held without bond.
That is not how you do it. I can't even begin to say how infuriated I am about this latest development, but that is where we stand. They have another trial appearance on the 15th and another on the 24th. There's going to be custody hearings, and there's going to be evidential hearings for their actual trial. They both remain without bail for 6 counts of child abuse, and we do know that Ruby has been moved into a medical wing, and Jody's attorney is had her transferred to a hospital, saying that she has medical issues.
𝗙𝗿𝗫𝗀's attorney also filed a motion to the court asking for an expedited detention hearing, citing the defendant has experienced a life-threatening medical issue resulting in her hospitalization for several days. As of now, the two are scheduled for court for September 21st. Live in studio, Lucy Nelson, Fox 13 News, Utah.
I'm sure she does, because we already knew bitch was sick in the head. So that's the latest and greatest. I will keep you informed as more and more this just continues to come out more and more each day as we roll through it. So yeah. Yeah. I remember another Utah mother that suddenly started abusing her children, and she ended up killing both of them. So I'm just glad that this was able to be had a different outcome. The judge at the hearing did say that the accused minor will have to be placed into CPS foster care by themselves with no other children, but that's all we know. Custody was not granted to Kevin. The children remain in CPS care, and I will continue to follow this case. Anyway, if you'd like to know more on background on this case, my video above, or just put in Franke on YouTube, and there's a plethora of videos. Former patients and even family members of 𝗪𝗿𝗪 have been coming out and talking about her cruel treatment ways because they now feel empowered to do that. It's funny how when something breaks, something breaks. People are by nature scared to come forward. So when it breaks, it breaks. And now we're going to be seeing all of this everywhere. So my job in this is to kind of move it all into one digestible little chunk and present that to you so you don't have to search all over. That's my job. And with that being said, until next time, you don't cry.